Hey, welcome back to another episode of Uncommon Faith. It's your girl, LaFlower B, and rocking it with one of she used to be a friend of the show. Now she's an official co-host of the show, Miss Deandra Scott. How you doing, boo?
Hey, I'm so excited.
You feeling good?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Thank you. So excited to join the Uncommon Faith team. And the best part is it's my sisters. So it makes it even more exciting.
Yes. Sip on my lemon one, y'all. I'm trying to get my life right. Well, we're super excited to have you on the show, Dee Dee. It's been, a long time coming, and so I'm ready to rock and roll tonight. Hey guys, if you were tuning in from any of our online platforms, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or anything like that, definitely like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Tonight we're going to be talking about connections and community when it comes to women. And I know Deandra want to pick back up on a little bit of what we ended off with last week, but I know Regina is not here tonight. Gina, we missed you, boo.
Miss you.
Put some in the comments so we know you tuning in and watching. Let me share our feed really quick, because I want to make sure everybody know we are here. Let's see.
We are here.
Get a couple shares in there. But if you guys are tuning in, we definitely want it. We know that our show is international, but we definitely want to, when you tune in, let us know where you are tuning in from. Because we want to know. We want to be all up in your business because y'all enjoy being all up in ours. No, just kidding. But guys, Uncommon Faith is definitely a show that is based, on principles, mindsets, belief systems, to help you live a purpose-driven life. Things that we've actually implemented in our lives, things that we've changed, how we've been able to grow and evolve. And so the first segment of the show is, of course, I Know God is Real because, and want to check in with Deandra. Deandra, do you have a I Know God is Real tonight?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I can just say I know God is real quickly. I know he's real just because of we just relocated to Atlanta a few months ago, and everything is just falling into place so nicely. I'm falling in love with Georgia more and more. The weather is amazing. Oh my goodness. Just everything about it I love. So things have just been progressing so nicely. And God got his hands all in it when it's just so smooth. So I'm grateful and I'm appreciative all the many things that are coming. I'm ecstatic. So God is definitely real.
Hallelujah. You're right. And we prophesied a couple months ago, we spoke some things into existence when, we were talking about, thank you, Holy Spirit, when we were talking about, when you move, God will move just like that, right? And we were talking about how God was pulling some people into different geographical locations and that things are going to be unlocked physically, spiritually, emotionally. And, I know that this past year has been a roller coaster ride for a lot of us, but I know you've been through a roller coaster ride as well. We won't go into too many details, but I do believe that some of that roller coaster had to happen because God already knew that you would be in a new city and a new state. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I definitely I received that, and that is definitely to be true. I know I went through a lot, and the fact that this is becoming such an amazing experience / move, I could just know that leading up to it, everything, all of the things that I've been through recently, heartaches and, just not feeling like things weren't going my way or things were kind of in a downward slope.
Right.
But I'm so appreciative to be going back uphill because we know it's uphill is top of the mountain. I've been hiking, y'all, so you know I got all these mountain references.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And one other thing, real quick, I got messaged about representation. So your girl might have an agent / agency really soon. So I'm not gonna say anymore. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I'm gonna let my reel and all my other things work in my favor. So I'm really excited about that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Major kudos and congrats, because we know that when certain doors are closed, it's like God is going to open the other doors. He's definitely going to open those doors. And, you know, I know God is real, because literally, y'all, when I say literally, it's like when you take one step, it's like God will do his thing. It's like when you just step out on faith and trust him. So you guys know that a couple of weeks ago, you know, I was talking about what happens when your well runs dry. Like what happens when literally a stream of income just, you know, soaks up, you know, and it's nothing is coming out of that well. Some of you guys know I launched a new business last week, and wow, in less than a week, clients coming out of nowhere. And, you know, I had the option, and this is another reason why we're talking about the power of connections and community tonight, right? So I had the option of launching this business, you know, in one area, well, with one type of certification, but I decided to go with a different type of certification because of who I would be connected to. And just because I went with the connection over, you know, over other things, because I was weighing everything out. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to rock with this connection, because the power of one person within your network, within your organization, within your community can change the trajectory of a lot of things. And because I made the decision, I partnered with that one person. You know, I pretty much in 1 week, I'm getting ready to have over 60% of my investment back.
Wow.
In 1 week of business.
That is amazing.
It's amazing,
congratulations,
right?
Kudos. I mean, you've been blowing my mind. You know, we got a little sis chat, you know, we kind of really put our good news in there. You know, it's really hard.
We put the good, the bad, the ugly.
Well, the good and the bad and everything. But we really put our good news because we know we have like real support behind like those congratulations. That's awesome. I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your success in your endeavors.
Right.
And so it's just, you just gotta find those people who you know is after you tell them that good news, they're really rejoicing for you. And LaFlower has had us rejoicing all week, y'all. All week.
Our other sister, Regina, she was like, I didn't realize you was going to be moving this quick.
Yes, it's amazing. It is amazing. I can't wait. And just your locks by themselves are gorgeous. And so that's the selling point right there. Like you want mine to flip by mine? Yes, come on. So, you know, that by itself, but giving other people that confidence, that beauty, just what you've been experiencing, being able to just kind of shake and go, you know, just all the good benefits of it. I'm not ready, but when I get ready, you know, it's already done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Something else. And so, Didi, that was a great pivot into transitioning to our talk tonight, you know, really about the power of connections, the power of community. Because I know growing up, for me, it was very hard for me to make connections with other people. It was hard for me to trust. It was hard for me because I always felt like in the relationship that I was the one who was over giving or over committing, and the relationship was not reciprocal, right? I was not, even in school, you know, you buy folks birthday gifts for school. You remember their birthday, your birthday show up. They're like, oh yeah, girl, happy birthday. Happy birthday. You know, things like that. And so for me, it was hard. I did not understand the power of connections. And I think that's why my family bond is so strong, because that was the most genuine connection that I've ever had. And so having connections outside of the family, it was always hard because I never felt like, in the majority of my relationships, especially with women, that they was given the same amount into the relationship that I was given. How about you? How did your adolescent years, teenage years start with when it came to female relationships with other women?
I think I was definitely the social butterfly. So, but heartache came within that too, and being a social butterfly, talking to everyone, giving everybody a piece of you can become so draining, and especially if you don't get it back. And it's not that I got it back all the time. I was just so easy to just maybe shake it off or blow it off or say, hey, maybe next time, da da da, it's all good. So I think that's also is why I've been able to just cut off so quickly in friendships, because I have such a great foundation within my sisters, within you and Regina, because and then it's like I got support. I got somebody that's gonna clap for me. I got somebody that's gonna pray for me for real when I say I really need prayer in this situation. Can you please hold me up? Because we know when two or more agree, it's said and done. So that I did it. I talked to everybody, I did it, but I still experienced, a lot of shadiness and not being up to par with what I was giving out to. So we were kind of one and the same. We just approached the situation a little differently.
You did more full on. I approach with caution. Like, like you want me to do the homework? Like, you need some homework done? Like, what you want? Like, what you doing over here? Because we don't walk together like that. But what I realized is that growing up, I knew that I was confident. But as I've grown and matured in personal development and things like that, I realized one of the things I want to hit on when it comes to connections is worthiness sets the standard of attraction. So whatever your worthy meter is on the inside, that's the type of stuff that you're going to attract, right? And so I've always been confident in who I am, right? Like, I know who I am. And I think that worthiness on the inside that I had before I lost my worthiness, because that's a whole nother show. Mm-hmm. It's like I had my worthiness growing up because it was instilled in me. Who you are, whose you are, you're beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you nothing. All of that from my father, from my mother, it was a great foundation. And so I think that standard of worthiness, it's an attractor, but it also repels people. Mm-hmm. It repels people who may be about some nonsense. Yeah. It repels people, who may not mean good. Mm-hmm. If they already know, like, Flower not gonna deal with that. Mm-hmm. That foolery. I'm just not going to do it. So what do you think about that? Your worthiness being a standard of attraction?
It's key. Like, just you exuding and showing your worth, what you want in return from the people who you associate yourself with or in a relationship with, or who you're under, if it's your pastor. So many, all relationships, should definitely have that worthy aspect, and you saying, hey, this is what I'm giving, this is what I want to return. If you can't give it back, it's all good, but I can't stay around.
I love it. I love it. Now, Dee Dee, when it comes to those connections, when it comes to being adult, because I noticed that you say you cut people off very quick. So do you have your connections in certain categories? Like, how long does it take for you to really be able to see if someone is really for you or if they're just here watching the show?
Oh, wow. I guess not instantly. Over time, people will show you better than they can tell you. And it's so true. People will start to not be available, can't make it, can't log in, just can't be supportive or be there for you. So, but then I feel like it's my Aquarius nature that I just cut people off. So, I've definitely been able to just go cold. And I guess it's just because I realize and I feel like it's no need to just keep going further when I've fully accepted that this person
they're not
is not here, especially for good, for what it is that I really want in my presence.
right.
Are not available.
Exactly. And I think that for me it was, again, because I love so hard, and when I make a strong connection with someone, whether it's romantically or just in a friendship, because it's like I'm so loyal, and that may be the Scorpio in me, who knows, but if I'm rocking with you, I'm rocking with you. And for me, it takes me a while to even if I know that they're good people, it takes me a while to fully trust, to fully bring them into what I call my inner court. Because the king would only, in order for you to come into the king's inner court, you had to be summoned. Like, you just not walking into my inner court, like you just not walking into my personal zone without me inviting you into this inner court. And I think that a lot of us don't have that boundary when it comes to our inner court, especially sometimes with social media and in our personal lives. It's like, I think we have to get back to the point where we are evaluating people before we allow them into our inner court, right?
Court everyone,
Literally. Literally.
And I didn't do that. I was definitely the person like, hey, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. No matter what, if I know, like, if I've heard that you are just this horrible person, it's a piece in me that feels like my little light is gonna shine so bright that you're gonna come around and be good to me, but you're not. And it's just learning to just, you're right, letting people in that inner court, like courting everyone. That's it. Just court everybody.
And it's hard because you come across being a certain way, but what I realize is that if the power of connections is so important, but also the detriment of having a bad connection could ruin everything in your life. It could take down everything that you've built. Now, I'm not saying treat people bad or don't love them, but inviting someone into your inner court, into your inner space, into your inner circle, as a lot of people call it as well, you have to be mindful of doing that, right? You got to evaluate people, especially this day and age, when you got to see, are you really rocking with me?
Right.
Through the good and the bad, because I've been through some bad times, and I felt like I didn't have anybody to call but my family, because that I had made pseudo connections or pseudo friendships that I thought were friendships, but they weren't friendships. They were falsities, right? They were falsities. And so we got to evaluate those things, right? Now, let's talk about love. Let's pivot this a little bit when it comes to connections, because I hear a lot of women, a lot of single women, or just women in general, saying that they don't need love. And I'm not talking about like from an intimate standpoint or from a sexual standpoint. I'm just saying like love. Like they don't.
I feel like that's something that they have just settled with, over the time, not being healed, not being tended to properly, not healing from situations to build that callus, to build up that wall, So it's like, of course you need love. Love is so beautiful. Support is beautiful. When somebody say you did the damn thing, like you did that feels so good. I don't care what anyone says. And it's like, look for that. It's definitely available, but I just don't agree. I just don't feel like they really truly feel like they don't need love.
Right. And I think that sometimes we've talked about distractions in the past, and how distractions are never going to stop coming, but distractions will keep you in a place where where you don't really do that soul work, like you said, that healing work. And sometimes your hurt will speak louder than your need. Yeah. Right? Your hurt, or your hurt will speak louder than what your body needs, what your soul needs, because your hurt is being fed by the distractions. Right. For example, when when in my first marriage, when there was infidelity there, I was hurt, and so I was distracted by being hurt, by watching videos, by going through this, trying to find evidence over here. It's like I was so distracted. And then I got to a point where, I got so angry and so frustrated. And I was just like, you know what? Forget love. Forget all of this. Because if this is what comes out of this, right, then I don't want it. Right. But at the same time, I got to go back and talk and evaluate myself. And remember what I said earlier, worthiness sets the standard of attraction. So at some point before I entered that marriage, I lost a sense of my worthiness, right, which allowed me to be connected with someone who would do that to me. Mm-hmm. Right. So what do you think are some things that, as we go through transition into our adulthood, what are some things that impact our worthiness, that cause us to lose a sense of worthiness?
God, so many things, relationships of all sorts, of course, stuff that kind of aims towards your pride and your how you feel, your self-confidence.
Right.
You just co-workers. I mean, so many things, even going into my own personal, even being a teen mom, even having a child my 12th grade year, and like just going into adulthood with a baby already. Come on, so because right, society already told me, hey, you're gonna fail. It's not too much that you're gonna be able to accomplish, so you should feel really, really low. So just kind of learning how to get through those things and remember your worthiness, remember things happen for a reason, just knowing that the intent had been pure the entire time, and just right, knowing that throughout all of that, I could still have a good life. So just being young, and it's so many different things that can kind of get to you, but I feel like remembering who you are and what it is that your goals are will kind of help you through any situations, because it's so many.
And so many things that will, like you said, that'll pull you away, from, or that just slowly make withdrawals from your sense of worthiness. Instead of making deposits and building you up, those things will just slowly chip away at you. Like you said, even coworkers. And it's like, how many times do we find ourselves comparing ourselves to our coworkers, or listening to, the water cooler talk, or, just different things. It's like so many things that can chip away at your worthiness. And that's, again, why we're talking about the power of connections tonight, because if you have the right people in your circle, if you have the right people in your inner court, nothing will be able to chip away at your worthiness, because those people are validating you when you need it. Now, I know some of us say, I don't need validation, I know who I am, but we all know we've been through a situation or two where we question our worthiness. Like, we felt like when there was infidelity in my first marriage, I was like, all of my worthiness, I'm like, who am I? I'm like, am I not beautiful enough? Did I not give him everything that he needed? Did I not support him? Am I not worthy of being a wife? It's like all of those things, ran through my mind, and it chipped away
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to the mindset. See, that's why I never said I was going to get married in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to go through this. So let me go out here and do what I do. And I did some things that I wasn't proud of, but I did it from a sense of unworthiness.
Right.
I put in the chat if you've ever felt that unworthiness, if you've ever gone through something that has made a withdrawal from your from your inner person, from your worthy bank. Hey Bridget, thanks for tuning in, honey. We got Shawtown in the building. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. But that worthiness, it's just, oh my gosh, it just does something. It does something. And so because I was in that situation and went through that divorce and my worthiness standard got adjusted, I started attracting some things that I'm not too proud of. But I had to go through that in order to find my way. And now I understand the power of healthy connection. Right now, I know last week we touched on marriage, we touched on relationships a little bit, but that the power of connection when it comes to romantic love, it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing. And we talk about, like we said, there's women that say, or men that say, hey, I don't need love, I don't want to be married, right? But we know, Didi, in Ecclesiastes 4:9, the word tells us that two is better than one.
Yes.
Right. And then there is a statistic that says, watch this, y'all. It says statistics prove that people in committed long-term romantic relationships are emotionally happier and healthier than their single counterparts. What you think about that, Deandra?
I could see how, of course we're all human. We go through things. When you're married, you go through things, that take your emotions all over the place. It's all a roller coaster.
Right.
But I would say being single, 9 times out of 10, you're dealing with multiple people who you're not in a fully committed relationship, but you have ties to. And I can imagine how stressful it could be just taking on those different partners, just even taking on being alone. Loneliness it's not easy. No one wants to feel lonely. I know everyone probably all has a sense of feeling alone, having a sense of being alone. So all those things I feel like is why that statistic is so true.
It is. I believe it. Like, just from a woman's perspective, a married woman's perspective, it's being married to the right person. I'll stress this all day long. Being married to the right person, it gives you more freedom. I've had more freedom being married to the right person, more peace being married to the right person. And again, we have our ups and downs. Y'all know we done been in counseling, been almost divorced, all of that. But the good definitely outweighs the bad. Because I remember when I was single, and I remember when I was in, an abusive relationship. And so I see why this statistic says, statistics prove that people in committed long-term romantic relationships are emotionally happier and healthier, because at the end of the day, we all need love, and we want to feel that we are loved by someone.
Oh, yeah.
My bad, y'all. We want to feel like we're loved by someone, and we want to be able to give that love. Deandra, have you ever been in a situation? I know you've been married for a long time, but have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to love someone, but you didn't have anybody to love?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Just a little deeper inside, me and Justin went through something this last year, and not being around the person who you've been around with forever, and literally going through exactly what you're talking about very recently. And less than a year, almost a year, but less than a year, and just knowing all the love you give, knowing how you would be loved, knowing when it would happen, or times, just all these playbacks really But then it's like you want to love, but you're going through something so intense. And
Right.
then, you might find someone and you think it's love. And it's just so much to
Right.
where the loneliness, that's why I stress so much. Loving yourself and knowing yourself and being able to be in your own company and be happy. I would say a good exercise for everyone is to just, chill by yourself and fall in love with yourself and tell yourself, talk to yourself, as crazy as it might sound, but have those deep conversations. So like, girl, I know you did this, but we better and we doing good right now, so just have those pep talks, because especially with COVID, it's just a lot of alone time. Even if you're not with someone, or if you are single, I'm sure it's even more alone time, being single. So I could only imagine,
Right.
Just what everyone is going through.
So true. So true. I know we got to get ready to take a break, but when we come back from our break, Dee, I want to jump into sabotage and how sometimes just like we have good connections around us. We have people that really mean us good, but we sabotage those relationships. And so we'll be right back, guys. You're tuning into Uncommon Faith. We'll be right back. We're talking about the power of connections and community tonight. We'll be right back.
Life is better when you are living on purpose, but many times we get stuck in the rat race and in the mundane task of our day-to-day lives, causing most to lose sight of their purpose. That's why certified life coach, inner healer, and business strategist LaFlower Bowie is here to help you get calibrated to your calling through proven systems, techniques, and resources. Order a copy of her book, Principles to Reposition, to assist you with your journey, or schedule a free clarity session to kickstart the journey. After these sessions, clients have stated they found clarity and opened their eyes to things they had long forgotten. So get social and follow LaFlower on all social media platforms at LaFlower Bowie. And don't forget to mention Stunner Radio sent you.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. What are you cooking?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hey guys, welcome back to Uncommon Faith. It's your girl LaFlower, rocking with one of our new co-hosts, my sister Deandra. And so we're excited tonight. We're talking about a very serious topic. I think we're going to get a lot of soul work out of this when it comes to dealing with the power of connections, because I don't think sometimes we don't value connections as much as we should, and sometimes we don't evaluate those connections as much as we should. But like we said before the break, we were talking about sabotage, right? So whole relationships require us to have whole thinking, Whole relationships cause us to have whole thinking. We can't bring old things that happen from us into new relationships. Like I can't charge my new friends with things that people did to me in the past. Just because I had people that didn't support me in the past, I can't say, you know what, I know she ain't gonna support me, so I'm not even gonna invite her. Because every girl I run in, I can't say that. So Deandra, what do you think about us? The self-sabotage, because sometimes it's not the devil, y'all. Saints, sometimes it's not the devil. Sometimes the enemy is you.
Right. So true. Right. I mean, self-sabotage is so real. And then it's like, it comes with learning and growing, but, it's just being human. And it's just like not making a good decision. But it's just learning from it. But self-sabotage is so real.
Right. What do you think about when it comes to self-sabotage in when it comes to our old wounds, especially old relationships, and how we haven't healed from those wounds, but we enter into a new relationship and that new wound impacts our relationship, that impacts our connection with this new person?
God, just not healing old wounds is definitely a setup for failure. Because we're going to bring it with us. We're going to bring it to the new thing. We're going to always bring it up. It's going to be, well, this happened then. Will it happen now? So I would say definitely try to heal before going into a new anything. Heal from whatever the event or situation before like stepping into something else similar.
Right, right. That's so true. I was just thinking that, grief is not just when someone passes, right?
Right.
Grief and healing has to take place whenever there's a connection that is severed. Whether it's from someone passing, whether, it's, we chose to evaluate the relationship and end it, whether you were cheated, whatever it was, we have to take time to heal and grieve from those relationships. The old people used to say it takes what? A third of the time. Y'all help me out in the chat. Is it a third of the time, half of the time, that you were with this person to really, get over that person? It takes time to heal. And so in order for us not to sabotage those new connections, because new connections in your community can bring so much peace, so much joy, so much. But if we don't take time to, like Deandra said, to heal from that other stuff, it can impact us.
For sure.
All right. All right. Didi, what do you think about offense? When it comes to offense, like, do you think that offense can impact your connections? Like when it comes to, taking everything personal in our relationships? How do you think? Because I know I'm super sensitive. If y'all didn't know, I'm gonna say it. I'm super duper sensitive, right? And so it took me a long time, even growing up, when my dad would just speak to me in a stern voice.
Yes. I
would start crying. I'm like, why you gotta talk to me like, or if he would just look at me in a certain way, I would just start crying. And so, and everybody in the family knew Flower super sensitive and things like that. And because I was super sensitive, I took so many things personal and I would internalize so much that it impacted my connections around me. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about taking things so personally, Deandra?
I think that was kind of both of our faults. I took things so personal too, but I guess, like I said, I blew things off so easily, or I gave so many chances that to where even if, it did hurt me so quickly, or, I was just like, it's okay, and just keep crying because it hurt, but, immediately say it's okay, instead of being in that space of like, hey, I might be sensitive, but I'm hurt right now, or what you said hurt. But then on the flip side, we see how damaging that is and how it could damage all the potential things, because sometimes people say things and they really don't know that they have offended or hurt your feelings or something like that. Because I know I'm just super sensitive, way sensitive, to where I have to be like, hold on now.
Right.
It didn't really mean anything, but so it did be able to hard. Constructive criticism. That's what they call it. Just learning how to, I guess, any criticism, learning how to take what you need from it and let the rest go, whatever applies.
Right. Because our minds, when we say our minds playing tricks on us, it really can. Because and that goes back into that old thing, that self-sabotage with that old baggage or those old wounds, because somebody else says something like this to me in the past, or I've seen something similar, like this hurt feels familiar. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So if something feels familiar, you're going to automatically assume, you're going to assume the worst, right? Because that hurt feels familiar.
It happened last time this way, so it could happen again. Yeah. Right.
So, but like you said, we got to have those courageous conversations. We got to just say, hey, this is how, did you mean? Because if you mean to talk, if that's what you mean, I'm
that's different. Yeah.
But if you didn't mean it like that, I need to know so that we can move forward, so that this connection won't be damaged.
And guess what? Doing that, I really truly feel like it helps us grow individually. Mm-hmm. When you're able to say, hey, I'm feeling this kind of way and I really want to fix it. I don't want to sit in this sad feeling, in this horrible feeling, or angry, mad, sad, whatever feeling it is that doesn't sit right and you're not comfortable with it. Right. Asking, go to, it's like, hey, what did you mean? Because I need to know if I need to do more inner work. I need to know if you kind of said maybe a trigger word and you meant something completely different, but I took it as if you were trying to XYZ. So and I feel this way. So I think learning to just ask and head on, like, hey, how come I feel this way? Help me get better. Help me get back to a healthy state of mind.
Exactly. And I know even, you know, in our family and in our sister relationships, you know, things that, you know, have happened in the past, they have triggered things, even though we have grown, we have evolved. But when that hurt feels familiar, or someone displays a trait that triggers, or a word that triggers, you know, I've done it, you've done it, Gina, you know, we've all been like going back to that, you know, that,
and it's like, whoa, I didn't
like, you know what,
I'm
just to pack up and I'm just to go back to my house because this feels familiar and I'm about to leave.
Right.
I don't want to feel the hurt that I felt in the past. And y'all my family, so I can't go out. I can't just cut y'all off like that, you know, for a long period of time. But it's good that we talk about those things and recognize.
I'm here, so I can't just cut y'all out. So I just need to go.
Right? But it's like we have to continue to grow and evolve and have those conversations, because a lot of times I know you weren't coming from a bad place. I wasn't coming from a bad place. Or we were just making a joke and didn't realize that that was a trigger for each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I realized, like, you know, when it comes to, you know, being a teen mom and stuff like that, I can't be super sensitive about what people say about people who are teen moms are totally irresponsible and da-da-da-da. Just because that's my, you know, that they didn't go through what I went through. They don't know my personal story. Right. So sometimes we damage our connections just because someone has a different belief system than we do.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
So it's definitely key for us to, like you said, to have those courageous conversations, because it's hard.
It's hard. And it's not
to do it, even though we don't have balls, but you know, y'all know what I'm saying.
It takes a lot, and with everything, with COVID, everything going on, it's like the biggest mental battles that we're going through. You know, you can't see COVID, you know, but we see the aftermath of it, and it's just scary when it's like the unknown and you don't know what's coming. You don't know if you're somewhere where it is or touching a surface, and you know, it could just definitely take you on these mental wars, you know, within yourself. So I feel like it's easy for anybody, find those people who you know you can trust, but don't keep it bottled in. Talk, you know, get it out to whoever. And guess what? God is a good listener. You know, if you don't have anybody, he's listening. Pour it out, and like, you will be surprised how the next few days, the things that you poured out and cried out about that you just don't understand, and it's just consuming you too much, that relief will just come out of nowhere. And it's like, wow, I feel so much better when I feel so low. So within these times, definitely reach out and talk to whoever, and if not, hit up the Lord in prayer.
Just hit up the Lord. He ain't going nowhere. He is there. Now, Didi, before we go into our soul work question for tonight, let's talk about when you know that in our adult life, when, how can I put this? In our adult life, like cutting off connections, like how often do you evaluate connections with people? It's like, how often? Because for me, when I take sabbatical, I'm resting, I'm reflecting, and I'm rejuvenating. And I try to take sabbatical. I try to do it every Monday, right? But if I can't go on a sabbatical every Monday, then it's at least going to be, you know, a couple times a month where I'm really reflecting on what's been going on. Well, I'm resting, right? I'm reflecting on what's happened since my last sabbatical. And I'm reflecting on relationships, on work, on marriage, family. But it's really, I found out that a lot of my reflection time has been on connections. You know, it's been a lot of connections. Like, who am I connected to? Right? And then I rejuvenate. So when I come out of that sabbatical rejuvenated, there may be a different mindset that I may have towards some connections, or I may need to, work on slowly, cutting that connection off. But for you, how do you do that? How do you, what's your process when it comes to evaluating and eventually cutting off some connections? Or are you still like the same how you used to be, where you just like done?
Definitely not the same. The sister has grown tremendously. And then it's like being in entertainment, being an actress, it has helped me more to understand, meet a relationship where it is, where whoever it is, whether it's a spouse, partner, kids, everything. Meet these people where they are. And it's like, you do not give yourself these expectations that don't come true about these people you're letting in. So that's big for me.
That's good.
That's big for me. That's big growth for me. And then it's realizing, do not let anyone else alter or change the way you're thinking or your goals or what it is. Get those people out of your life.
Yes.
Get out of your life. If you got goals and you don't have nobody to tell your goals to where, because once you say it out loud, it's done. True. It's like if you don't have anybody, let them people go. Let them go. And it's hard because you feel like those people are the ones who've been there. But no, it's real people who can be around you and pour into you. And I learned, 1 or 2 people pouring into you is so much better than a lot of people around you that that's pointless, so meet your relationships where they are, give the energy that deserves to be given, and let them go. Because life is really, really short, seems like these days, to where if you want to accomplish things and get going and be positive, find those people.
You want to make the most out of every connection, guys. You want to make the most out of every connection. I love how you said, Dee, just leave the connection where it's at. Leave the relationship. Meet that person wherever they're going to meet you at. Because you said earlier in the show, people are going to show themselves to you. And so it's important for us to not put false expectations on pseudo relationships. What does pseudo mean? Pseudo means false, right? So if you can't call somebody your best friend if they not giving you best friend vibes, right? If they not, if they don't
struggling, if you're in your kids hungry for dinner and that they've been talking about all this money they got or bonus that they got. I mean, it doesn't have to be that situation, but I'm just saying, people who care about you show you. It's showing. Allow people to show you, and don't just, allow people in because you think they'll benefit you, because they'll drain you. And you're in there like, I thought I was using you. And it's like, no, you were being used the whole time.
Wow, checkmate, right? Checkmate. But you're right. So, and you just brought up another thing that I didn't even think of as, in thinking about connections, is like, I think sometimes we mess ourselves up when we put titles on connections.
Yes.
When we have to make things officially this, or you officially my best friend, or you officially my boo, we officially this, we're officially part. It's like, sometimes just let the relationship grow organically, and then see what it grows into, and then categorize it or put a title on it.
Yes.
Do that prematurely, you can give somebody access into your inner court who not ready to be in your inner court. They're not ready. But I love this quote by Mother Teresa, and I read it a couple of weeks ago, but I think it still applies for, our session tonight on connections. It says, if you are humble, nothing will touch you, neither praise nor disgrace, because you know what you are. That's Mother Teresa. If you are humble, nothing will touch you, neither praise nor disgrace, because you know what you are. And so it's the same thing in our relationships, right? It's like, we know who we are.
I love that.
It's key. It's key. And I think that that's a good anchor, or a good stake to stand on when it comes to these connections, when it comes to knowing who to cut off, when to cut off, putting expectations on relationships, right?
Right.
And all of those things. I love it. I love it. I love it. So tonight's soul work, we just want everyone to evaluate, like go back and look over your relationships, over your connections for the last 12 months. Yeah. And see if there's, just evaluate. This is not going to be a really question. It's really want you to go back and evaluate your connections. Did you cut anybody off?
Including yourself. Including yourself. I feel like that's a key relationship. We worry about a lot of relationships, but that self relationship, because I'm telling you, I didn't really start progressing and growing until I built my relationship up with myself. And it took so long. It took me to almost lose my life to really sit down and say, hey girl, it's been a long time since we sat down and talked to each other and said what it is that we want to accomplish. I'm trying to see the world. I'm trying to travel. There's so many things that I personally want to do, and just always keep that relationship with self too. That's a right self on the list too.
That's so important, because you want to evaluate your relationship with yourself and how are you showing up in other people's inner court.
Yes.
Right. It's like, because for the friends and for the family, for the people that are in my inner court, I want to show up for them. Like I want to be that, I want to be that person, that rider for them, for the people that I'm in their inner court. And I pray that they do the same thing for me. Right. But thing is, you can't be in everybody's inner court.
No.
Right. And everybody can't be in your inner court when it comes to your connections. And so just take time this week to really think about and evaluate your connections. Because it's,
It reminds me of like the whole Kelly Price situation that kind of went down this past week.
What happened?
I love Kelly. Kelly Price, I'm so glad you saved, girl. But so Kelly said a while ago, like a month or so ago, that she had COVID, and she kind of asked everyone for her prayers. And then just recently her sister came and said, hey, I haven't heard from my sister. She's been checked out at a hospital. Where's my sister? And then the lawyer came and said, Kelly's safe. Everything's all good. Then the sister comes back and says, until I see my sister, I don't care what you say. I want to see my sister. And then Kelly came and said, I'm alive and I'm well. And I haven't talked to my sister in over a year. So it just shows their connection. And I brought that up to say how the connection between them was so off. And I'm sure it's so many different things going. I know she said they hadn't spoke since their mother's funeral. So, and which was,
but did they text? Was the other sister?
About a year ago, Kelly made it really seem like she hadn't been in touch with her sister. And it seemed like the sister in the beginning was so very concerned, where's my sister at? So, it just came up in my mind, wow. I'm so grateful for my sisters. I'm so grateful for the connection, because there's so many siblings, parents and children, just so many different things to where that relationship is broken. And it was just a prime example of just not communicating or losing the connection, especially behind the scene. And it showed in front of everybody. So I'm just
so she didn't go missing.
She's been recovering from COVID. I thank God I believe I had COVID in the very, very beginning, before we even knew what COVID was. We were doing it was like my last theater show with Vincent before COVID happened, and we just were, I just felt so bad, and I knew it was something more than just a cold. But throughout this pandemic, since it's been announced that it's been COVID, you know, I haven't had to go through it, but I know like the recovery, the long lasting effects of it, all these different things. So I'm sure she's just been in recovery mode, you know, and she said she flatlined. She said she was gone.
Wow.
And came back. So
Wow.
that within itself lets me know that she's just been in recovery mode. And I don't know if the sister just went to media instead, or if Kelly just wasn't answering her texts or calls. I don't know. All we know is kind of what they put out there and they give us.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was a great example of, you know, how we do have to evaluate our connections and know if someone is in our inner court and know if we're in their inner court. Like, how are we showing up, you know, for other people?
Right.
Because when stuff happens like that, you want to know that you got people in your inner court. You want to know that you got people in your inner circle who are there for you. And the people who are in your circle, it's like they should know, or they will know, okay, let me give her some time. Let me be there. Like, you know, we're going to pull up if
Right.
you know, if something ain't right, or just let me see you and I'm good.
Right.
Just let me see. Let me lay my eyes on you. Then I'm gonna let you finish healing and recovering and all of that.
Right.
You know. But that was a really good example, and I'm sorry they're going through.
It's just something that broke out and like, whoa, what's going on? So yeah, that's a good example of just knowing and not losing the connection.
Right. Because you can't do that. You can't do that, especially when. And I think it's harder because you're in the entertainment industry. So I think it's harder when you have, you know, a certain celebrity or a certain level of success to evaluate who's in your inner court.
Oh man. I mean, like, you know how they say A1, day one? I truly feel, and I'm not saying like, because I can see how God will put people in your life. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying like eventually people can come in and be a blessing, which I truly believe they will. But I would say that guard, that radar, that wall should be definitely up high until they prove themselves. And I believe that's through actions. It takes a lot to get up, to even send that text message or that call, to go get up, get dressed, and go check on somebody, or to show them that you care. It takes energy, and that's when you know it's real.
Right. Because you want to, especially when you have those successful people in your lives, when you have those people who have reached a certain level of celebrity or, you know, a certain level of success, you want them to know, like, hey, I'm really rocking with you.
Right.
Like, no matter what. Like, for example, I was a part of this purpose position for your purpose virtual event over the weekend, and one of the ladies, extremely successful, you know, multimillionaire in the health and beauty, you know, arena. And she was just saying that, you know, she had, I believe it was a family member who reached out to her, and, you know, she had asked her for some money. And this young lady, the keynote speaker, she has a line of natural hair products, and she asked the family member who called her for the money. She was like, just do me one favor. She's like, just do one thing for me. She's like, check up under your sink and let me know, tell me what shampoos you have under there. And so the young lady goes and she's like, yeah, I got Dark and Lovely, I got Creep of Nature, she was like, well, in that case, I need you to call them and ask them for.
Come on.
And she was like, well, she's like, because you don't have my products. And the family member was like, well, I asked you to send me some.
Not support. Not I want to support you, but send me some.
Right. So that's another indicator as we're evaluating our connections this week. Who is really supporting you? Who is really rocking with you? Because like my uncle, Lord rest his soul, but he was a watermelon man, right? But he knew every time I pulled up to get some watermelons from him, I'm paying you. Like I'm supporting you in your business. Now he gonna give me a little extra on top, but
he gonna give me a free one. But it's just paying for it, you know?
Right. It's letting you know I support you. I'm not coming over here to to just withdraw. I'm depositing into our relationship.
I really feel like as a community, as Black people, that is a great way to show that you are just supporting someone who you know has had 100 hurdles to jump over to get their business going in the first place.
Right.
You know, it's so many roadblocks for us in general. So it's like, wow, I know you did a lot to get to this point. I would love to support you.
Exactly.
You know, one lady by Juicy Crab down the street, she's selling cupcakes out her trunk, and it was a black woman, and I was like, come on, y'all, let's go get some cupcakes. You know, we gotta support. You know, we're gonna put this good energy. Sis cupcakes was $20, okay, 20. So I said,
I know they were good.
I said, woo. So, you know, she had great flavors like
it was $20 each.
all these different things, and it's like we got 2 cupcakes. You know, we split them.
Did you have some CBD in the cupcakes?
There wasn't nothing in there, but it was just to show my girls. I could have easily been like, I ain't paying $20 for a cupcake, like,
right.
not. But I wanted to show my girls, like, look, when we support each other, we thrive. I was like, follow her on Instagram and just see. Eventually, she might have a cupcake shop we can drive to. You know, so you just never know. You want to just see people flourish.
Those connections. Those are those connections.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that we do so that we can get closer into someone's inner court.
Yes.
You know, we serve, we give, we support financially with our time and things like that. If you really rocking with somebody, let the people who you rocking with, let them know that you truly support them. Right. Well, awesome. How you feeling? You feeling we had a great show tonight?
Great show. I'm so excited. I'm so hyped. You know, we gonna be bringing wine time. We got some fun stuff. I didn't even tell Flower about wine time yet. But I'm just saying now, you know, we're going to have some really cool things.
Try to bring my wine to Tuesday nights like I do on Sunday night.
Yes. So thanks again to Regina in her absence and to LaFlower for welcoming me, you know, to the show, to just bring my view and my aspect and my point. I'm so appreciative, and I can't wait for next Tuesday.
I know it's going to be awesome. Part 2, we're going to continue our conversation
on
the danger zone and no man's land next week on Uncommon Faith, y'all. So bring your wine, bring your Bibles, bring your wine, bring your Bibles, bring your word. We're going to break bread as we talk about the danger zone.
Yes.
Going into and venturing off into no man's land. Part 2 coming up next week. All right, guys. We love you. We love you. Grace and peace. Grace and peace. Good night.